Welcome back, fellow sufferer. This is podcast number 4. New podcast, new shirt. And I took a lesson with Evan Marien, and I really need to tell you about it. It was so inspiring, and it was so much fun to hang with it. And it really, with a hint to the last podcast I did about building a career, 3 things to build a career, I really can tell you that it was so nice to hang with this dude, and it was so inspiring, such a pleasure. And we talked about a lot of things. I took away so much from it, and I came in with a specific question and what I wanted to improve on and what I wanted to learn. And in the end, the funny thing is, I recognized that the actual problem I came in with, and I thought it was my problem, I think it actually isn't my problem. And I learned so much about it, again, by thinking outside the box, or let someone else look at my playing and give me feedback. Yeah, and this is what it's today about. I'm going to talk about what I've been talking with Evan Marien, what he's been teaching me, what he's been telling me, advices, techniques, and I want to let you know about it so you can take something away from it. You know, after many years of taking lessons with many teachers, like from my studying at the professional jazz program I was in with my friend Rüdi Weckbacher, and I was with Hans Höhn, a brilliant double bass player, and Michael Demmeler, a really, really awesome rhythmic expert and pedagogy expert, and holistically about jazz improvisation and attitude. I learned a lot from him and them. I took some lessons with Anthony Roger, who most of you should know, and now I had my first lesson with Evan Marien, and I'm very sure that I will take more lessons with him. And I got there into this lesson in being very busy. The lesson was last week, and I'm right now in my holidays, and during my holidays, I'm producing my first course on melodic minor for you. It will be available in September, so I'm spending lots of time. All the setup here is still from video shooting, all the material. And it's late in the evening, 10 p.m., but I thought I was inspired in talking to you about that stuff. And talking about melodic minor, maybe you heard it from me last time. I put together a melodic minor first aid PDF. This is a free PDF, a 6-pager, which will help you to finally understand melodic minor better, and gives you very easy to approach memory tricks to put that in your playing right now and change your playing and make it easier for you to apply all these structures within the melodic minor system. It's a free PDF download. Its link is down in the description. So have fun. And I want to start with a quote today, because I'm so inspired. And this is about apprenticeship, or having a mentor, having a master. I will tell you what book this is in a minute. So it's about this paragraph is about absorb the master's power, the mentor dynamic. Life is short, and your time for learning and creativity is limited. Without any guidance, you can waste valuable years trying to gain knowledge and practice from various sources. Instead, you must follow the examples set by masters throughout the ages and find the proper mentor. The mentor-protégé relationship is the most efficient and productive form of learning. The right mentors know where to focus your attention and how to challenge you. Their knowledge and experience becomes yours. They provide immediate and realistic feedback on your work, so you can improve more rapidly. Through an intense person-to-person interaction, you absorb a way of thinking that contains great power and can be adapted to your individual spirit. Choose the mentor who best fits your needs and connects to your life's tasks. Once you have internalized their knowledge, you must move on and never remain in their shadows. Your goal is always to surpass your mentors in mastery and brilliance. Well, if that is so, I shouldn't take Evan Marien as a mentor, I guess, because it's very hard to surpass him. But even if I don't think I could surpass Evan Marien, I don't want to degrade that last sentence here. And this is from the book. Can you read that like this? Mastery by Robert Greene. I also read Power of from him. I really like him. I really like his ideas and the way he approaches learning in general. And yeah, I like the way he writes. Gonna start my clock here again. So, and yeah, picking a mentor is really a great thing. I read this book, I think 1 or 2 years ago. And I read another book from someone. I put it out here. Actually, I'm not. I feel okay showing you the book because do not totally stand behind that guy. It's that book here, Stephen Bartlett, The Diary of a CEO, the 33 Laws of Business and Life, and I enjoyed that book really much. Gives very concise advices and empowerment. And I bought this in a time where the Diary of a CEO was a much smaller channel. Now it's so big, and I like that content a lot. But I think it's very, very, it's hard for me to say it in English, but it's also provocative, the thumbnails and all. It's so your last chance and you need to look this, and it's also hard, and I don't like that marketing stuff so much, but he has some interesting guests, and so I learned quite some things from him and his podcast. So, but never mind. He and the book of Robert Greene get me to the idea to get some mentors. And I was looking for one, and I didn't find the right one. And yeah, long story short, last week or 2 weeks before, I spontaneously decided to go have a lesson with Evan Marien, and it was awesome. I'm gonna have a second one definitely, but I'm gonna take some time right now. So I had plenty of lessons in the past, and with other people, and with this lessons, I came with a very specific topic I wanted to learn on, or get feedback on. And actually, I really wrote down the whole lesson as if I was the teacher, because I made the experience that some teachers, they don't prepare lessons or think stuff through for you. And so in that case, that someone just is very spontaneous, thinking out loud what he thinks, I prepared very specific things that I wanted to have covered, and I wanted Evan Marien to hear me play. That was very important for me. I sent him in my YouTube channel, and I wanted him to hear me play during the lesson. And another thing, long story short, my topic was phrasing. I asked him if he can give me advice for have clearer phrasing. I find Evan Marien to be a master in phrasing, because he's not he doesn't play so fast like other bass players I cover on this channels lately. And he has every phrase he does is like a very clear statement, a very clear sentence he does as part of a whole. And he's so good in that, in creating very understandable phrasing. And that was my question, if he has advice for me, advice for helping me prevent and let my fingers do the work. Since I have a decent technique and I can do lots of things, I sometimes find myself in let my fingers fly away. And I think my main problem is maybe focusing on the melody. But anyway, that was the topic. So, and hey friend, just a quick note. I'm not a CEO yet, but please give me 30 seconds of your time. First, I want to thank you for tuning into my channel. It really means a lot to me, and this channel becomes more and more a big part of my life. I feel like my journey on this channel just gets started. So if you like what I'm doing here, please join the 20% viewers that are actually subscribed to this channel. That would really give me a massive support with the YouTube algorithm, and therefore helps me improve the videos even more. Thank you, fellow sufferer. I totally enjoyed that lesson, because in the first place I figured I'm gonna like him, because you have an idea of a person. I'm following him since I heard him the first time on the Virtual Donati album, the album In This Life. He played on the tune 11, and that I think it's 12 years from now. From that on, I was following him, and he does such great content on his channel. And you can see that he's really a nice guy. He seems to be a nice guy, and he was last week, and he was a really, really good teacher. And everything he gave me advice on, or he gave me feedback, nothing he mentioned was new to me. I knew every concept. Anyhow, it was so good hearing it from him, because sometimes lots of stuff, lots of concepts and techniques, and then it's good if someone else comes and points you in the right direction and tells you, hey, you can look at that. So, and what we first did, he asked me to play and what I would like to play, and I said I would love to play like 3 or 4 courses of the standard All the Things You Are. I figured that's a good standard because it's not too easy, not too hard, and it covers lots of key modulation, lots of 251s, 2516, and I know the melody. And yeah, as you probably imagine, I was really I was nervous, and even knowing that I don't have to be nervous. I mean, he does that all the time. I does that all the time. Playing in front of some other people is always like you make yourself naked. And I remember starting playing, my left foot was really shaking where my bass lies on. But in a way, I was lucky. I felt safe, and I had a good time. I played well. It was good. Or maybe one could say I played authentically. I was not playing particularly better than I averagely would do, and I wasn't playing worse. So it worked. And I played 6 choruses, the whole backing track I have. 6 choruses. And he was listening, and I was playing, and it was really cool because he commented with noises in between and gave me. It was nice. I felt really safe, and so that after that he said some nice words, some nice feedback, and he said, "It's so cool. The first thing I wanted to tell you did already. You were singing while you're playing, and this is a very powerful concept." Singing while playing. The thing is that when you connect to sometimes it's harder to connect to your brain without seeing the things, because at least in my experience, when I focus on the lines in my head, it's like I can easily forget that I focus on them, and my fingers started taking over. If I start singing, I'm more determined to what I think while playing. And I noticed while playing all the things in front of Evan Marien, I started singing every moment that I was losing my focus or my phrasing, my melody, and it helped me a lot. So this is very, very good. You don't by singing, you don't need to sing exactly what you're hearing, if you hear something at all, or it doesn't need to be in the right tune. In my case, I've mentioned on this channel a couple of times that I'm not good in ear training. I'm not good in hearing particular chords and stuff. I'm good at hearing melodies, and I'm very good in rhythm. I think I consider this really to be my strength, and I have a very rich rhythms are just going on all the time in my brain, all the time. I don't have to think about them, and I can pick what subdivision, if I want to think triplets, 16th notes, 8, triplets feel, whatever, I can do that. This is so I have a large library and creativity to pull from that. So when I sing, it's basically rhythming. I could do this all day long, and it would be even more interesting if I give me a frame like with a specific subdivision. Sorry, I have to cancel this display because I find myself always looking into into the display, seeing me. I want to look into the camera to you. So, okay, so that was one thing, singing. It's so powerful. And then he introduced, he told me to ask me to try something what I know, and what I knew that I should practice way time before. He said, I can see you're playing within boxes. And with boxes, he meant playing in one position. You know, when you play a key. Sorry. If you... Hi, man. I'm sorry. I need to go like this. When you play a key scale, you go over it through 3 or 4 strings. That's what he meant with boxes. You're in one box playing a scale up and down the fretboard in one position. And he asked me, he said, he called it, you should think in a single string continuum. And he wanted me to improvise only on one string. Yeah, I know that concept. My friend Rüdi Weckbacher, which I love, he inspired me so much. Fantastic bass player. You won't find so much material of him, but I should link something of him. He does things like that all the time. And Rüdi Weckbacher, he does like brain jogging. That's an expression in Germany. I don't know if it relates to English, but like giving your brain different exercises to perform. And he's left-handy, and he sometimes just plays right-hand bass, or he does some strange twists. He could even change the strings or something to give some brain a different twist, but it's pretty good. But let's take a step back, and I improvised all the things over one string, and it worked pretty well. And what that did is actually a big thing for me. I started thinking in more like in the interval shapes for one string, basically. I remember that I tried playing all these things a lot with melodic minor. And in melodic minor, you can take it apart into 2 tetrachords, tetrachord is basically the first 4 notes of a scale. And I started seeing melodic minor as a half step and then the whole steps, and then in the end you have again a half step before you get to the root again. And wow, I practiced that a few days afterwards, and that really changed something in my playing. That is something I really want to recommend to you. Try practicing on one string. Man, this is very, very powerful. And he said, try to use the full range of the fretboard, which I think I usually did. I usually do. That's kind of my approach. I do this anyway. It kind of happens that within the videos here or when playing there, I was focusing really on the high part of the fretboard. But that is something that's very helpful if you want to create nice phrases and dynamics within the solo and your playing. If you change positions and octaves on your fretboard, you change. It makes everything more colorful and dynamic. He said that it's very important, of course I know that, to leave big spaces between every phrase. And this is very powerful, but also challenging. But I find me as a player, when I'm playing a solo, and I will do a long rest. This rest, to me, especially if I'm in front of an audience, will feel way much longer than it feels for everybody else. And I find the same thing happens with students of mine. But the truth is, if you play a rest and you make even a long rest, it creates so much dynamics and curiosity for the listener. I mean, put yourself in the spot of the listener. If you're listening to a player and he's playing there or she's playing there, and you do a rest, nothing. He does a rest, nothing happens. What does this with you? You get more aware. You get more curious. What is going to happen next? It creates tension, and tension creates dynamics and makes things more interesting. So that's a very powerful concept. I learned this also with the book Kenny Werner, but that's the book of Kenny Werner, Effortless Mastery. I talked oftentimes about this, but that's a different concept anyway. Yeah, so space between phrases. Limitations. He talked about limitations, and that means also something that I talk a lot about on this channel is limit yourself to small phrases. That means like play little ideas of like 3 notes and try to make the most of it. It can be 3 notes rhythmically and melodically. And you try to get as much out of it with as little material as possible and make it very, very, try to make it very interesting. Yeah. During the conversation, at some point I probably said, yeah, I have, sometimes I lose it and I let my finger do the work, and I really want to play more melodies. And Evan Marien said, well, if you want to play more melodies, you got to play more melodies. Sometimes it's as simple as that. And he also said, write everything down. You can write everything on these little post-its and place it in your apartment. And I actually do that. I have lots of post-its in my apartment to remind me of things I want to improve on. And he's so right. And that is one thing that I liked so much about the lesson with him, that I thought we were like on the same mindset. he really cares about learning, about improve ways to learn better, like neuroscience and stuff like that. He's very into that, so that was really cool too. And related to that, he talked about shaping phrases, thinking of focus more on the end and the beginning of a phrase. So totally logical. Yeah, focusing on the end of a phrase, and I can't emphasize how powerful that is. There's a way to it, and I not yet can describe it what it is, but how you end a solo or a sentence or a group of phrases in music. In music, the way we improvise is so close to language, to talking. And when we talk, it's very easy to make that point. I did it just now. After this point, I did a rest, a long pause. And when I say this, there is like an accent. I highlight some things that make clear that the sentence is over. And when you think of it as a speech, in the end, a speech always says something meaningful, something big, something it's always a good ending to it, something that sticks. And when you listen to great improvisers, this is exactly what they do with their playing. And I'm sure you know what I mean. I like for words to explain the parameters. I'm gonna discuss this later on. You can be sure of that, because it's such an interesting topic, as well as the whole phrasing thing. But maybe you can make something with that. Maybe just hearing this, you can make your own mind to it, and I think you get what I'm saying. Yeah. In the end, we talked about transcribing, and that was also very, very interesting. He recommended that I would transcribe a solo that I really know very well, that I listened to for years. And we talked about the solo of Pat Metheny on Bright Size Live, and maybe I'm going to do that. I can't decide, because I'm so wrapped up in work right now that I can't think of transcribing at the time. I can't think of practicing too much. I have to set priorities right now. You know that stuff, and I have to barely can fit in like 20 minutes of practicing here and there. So. Take 2. Yeah, and talking about that, he started talking about Wayne Krantz. If you don't know Wayne Krantz, he's a very special musician. I would say you can either love him or maybe hate him. I would say, as a bass player, that he's one who really shaped electric guitar in improvisational music. He's not sounding anymore like you would expect a jazz guitarist to play. It's totally different. You should check out what he did with Chris Potter Underground, or later in his life with Keith Collock. I think the trio with Keith Collock, where he arrived at his sound he has is maybe like 15 years old. Well, and Evan Marien played with him, and they were talking about. He mentioned that I can't recall the conversation or stuff, but we were getting to the point that Evan asked Wayne, how did he become to sound the way he does? And Wayne said, do you really want to know? Evan said yes, and Wayne told him that he actually, I tried to compress what I recall, but basically Wayne Krantz stopped listening the players he loves. Yeah, that's basically it. He stopped listening to all the players he loved. He started recording himself like all the time and listening to him, analyzing his stuff, recognizing phrases. He has stolen or taken from other musicians, and every time he found one, he tried to get rid of them or tried to analyze them. That is actually funny because it's totally a principle that I teach on this channel, paraphrasing. He said that he, for example, instead of taking a phrase from, let's say, Adrien Ferraud, Hadrien Farad, you take it, analyze the parameters, and try to come up with a new one that is similar, but you don't take that particular phrase. That is something that Wayne Krantz did. And he really limited himself to, okay, no, that's not what I heard, but he stopped listening to the great players, and it took him 3 to 5 years to find the voice that is really him. And if you listen to him, you really know what I mean. Nobody sounds like Wayne Krantz. He's one of my biggest influences, and his playing is so much rhythm and phrasing, and it is so few melody, I'd say. You gotta check it out for yourself. It's very special. Yeah, and that really was so inspiring, hearing Evan Marien talk about that stuff. He talked also about different things, articulation while playing on one string. He talked about Matt Garrison. He was a student of Matt Garrison, and talking about learning and choosing a mentor, he told me that he's at Berkeley in the bass department teaching there, and he will take lessons with Gary Willis in the next time. 5 lessons, he told me, because he still wants to learn. And also people like Evan Marien take lessons from other great people. Imagine that. It's never too late. There never has to be an end. You can always learn. You can always be the student, and this is so cool. I remember those phases where I really practice a lot, and practicing a lot in my case means, at my high times, I had like 3 hours a day or so, and within the last 2 years I had like 2 hours a day, sometimes 3. And what I noticed at these times where I practiced the most, I noticed, man, I know so little. There's so much more to learn and to get to know. It's I love practicing bass, and I just love it. It's so much fun. And okay, I want to wrap up this video because I talked so long now. But it really was such an inspiring experience. And in the end, I came in with the question, what advice can you give me on phrasing and improvising? so I don't let my fingers take over. And I came out with this awesome advice, inspiring ideas that I will take with me for the next month and years. I mean, this thing I will carry on with me all the time. I know that. But you know what? 2 days after, I was thinking about that lesson all the time. And I was thinking to myself, man, I thought actually it's not phrasing is my problem. I found that I probably need more work on playing all the scales, all the chords in all keys all the time from every possible position on the fretboard, so I can freely express my ideas. Yeah, that's really a light bulb moment I'm sharing with you right now. That it really has been years that I took this phrasing topic with me. And there's a long story to it, not today. And maybe with having a lesson with Evan Marien, having a lesson with another person, I became a new idea. And right now, if I start practicing again in November, when I will have my first course out, the melodic minor stuff that is supposed to help you transform to a better player with using melodic minor and finally get it under your belt. When I've done this, I have 2 months working on the theater, September and October, and in November I can get to my practice, and it will not be what I did before. I will give it a new focus, and I know this will lift me up big time into the next year. And this is what I really want to tell you today. I really want to give you that thought. Take mentorship. Seek persons who monitor your playing and tell you what they think. Yeah, and yeah, get a mentor, get a teacher, or get someone that inspires you. Visit jazz concerts. Also, I always find visiting jazz concert of good or great jazz musicians, I always get in the mood to practice the next morning. Yeah, so I want to encourage you to do that. Yeah, to wrap it up for today, I want to mention again, if you really want to help with understanding melodic minor, the system, better and easier than you have probably seen on the net, I recommend you to download my Melodic Minor First Aid. It's a free PDF, 6 pages. The link is down in the description box, and I really think this one will help you to understand it finally and get easy tricks, easy memory tricks to play melodic minor today, and make it easier for you to think about it and not have all the stress or 3 hours working. All right, man. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here. I hope you don't suffer too much these days, and I wish you a good one. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. Bye.